everyone, and welcome to Simply Singapore with Azlin Bloor. I'm the co-host, Larry Fornillier. So today, I am here live at the HIRL in Denver, and we have Wayne doing some stuff later for us, some gumbo. Hi, Wayne. Hey, and his wife, Dawn, over there. Hey, Dawn. And we have Microphone sitting over there in the living room. Number one troll, he's waving. Now, let me introduce, before we get to Azlin, let me introduce the folks in the Hangout. Starting on my left, which are you guys right, we have Kim Boatman, who is like the #1 fan for Azlin and I since day one, I think.
Absolutely right? Enjoy it, and thank you.
Good, good. So she came in last night, but she was supposed to be in here the other night. She just came off editing a book for one of our friends, Ali Phillips. So glad to have you here, my dear.
I'm so pleased to be here, Larry. Thank you.
And right next to her is Debbie Davis, who's assisting Kim because this is Kim's first hangout. We are popping a hangout cherry today. And next to Kim, we have Michelle Rebel, the Bob Debonair Frenchman. Hi, Michelle. How are you, buddy?
Bonsoir. Yes, Larry. Hi. I'm glad to be with Kim and Azlin. Azlin, as always, you are so lovely. And you too, Larry.
All right. And before we get into Azlin, let me just give a little shout out to everyone in the who's joining us on the stream. We have Eleanor Bellinotti, Heather Crafter, Mia Voss, who will be joining us shortly to do the watermelon hack, which we'll be doing later on. But that's for another story. So, without much further ado, let's get into the kitchen with Azlin Bloor from Bournemouth, UK. Azlin, take it away.
Okay, hi everyone. It's of course, as you know, it is Azlin Bloor, like floor. How long have we known each other, Larry? I give up.
Too long.
I give up. Yeah, sometimes it feels like it. Hi everyone. Welcome to Simply Singapore, the last episode of season 1. But more of that later. Now, tonight here, we're going to be cooking smoked salmon curry. It is probably not quite the sort of curry that you're used to, for the simple reason that it's a South Indian curry. Quite often in the Northern Hemisphere, when you talk about Indian restaurants, we're talking of the Northern Indian persuasion, or Pakistani or Bangladeshi restaurants, and South Indian cuisine isn't as quite known as North Indian cuisine. South Indian cuisine is sharper, it's more pungent, and it's definitely has got a tang. So I'm going to get started straight away. Now, as we proceed, we're going to be looking at some spices that I'll talk to you about while the curry is cooking. Curry shouldn't take long. It's fish curry. It shouldn't take long to cook at all. So let me turn this on, and while the pan is heating up, we'll go through the ingredients. So it's called smoked salmon curry, but the main fish is a regular salmon, or you could just use any ordinary fish, white fish, swordfish, anything you like, and add the smoked salmon after. And here we go, 100 grams of smoked salmon, and that really is for adding flavor right at the end. Now, our usual onion, garlic, and ginger blend. I talked to you guys about it in the last episode a month ago, and we've got a special spice here called Panch Phuran. I'll go through how to make this homemade, very easy, just a mixture of 5 dried spices. Curry leaves, which are probably going to be difficult to get. So if you can't get curry leaves, skip them and just use some fresh cilantro, coriander after, right at the end of the cooking time. And let's see what we've got here. Okay, a homemade curry powder. Again, I'll speak to you about it while the food is cooking. We've got some tomatoes, and that's about it. Oh, some okra. If you don't like okra, put some aubergines, eggplants in there. Now, this is heating up. We're going to start with a simple process of frying up the dry spices. Now, in the last episode, I spoke to you about this process in Indian cuisine called tempering or tarka, where you very, very quickly fry or saute dried spices. I've got some ghee here. If you're not a fan of ghee, just use some oil. Say just about a tablespoon or two of that. Now, when this is heated up, you want your heat at medium. You don't want it too high, because too high it'll burn. Not warm enough, the essential oils are not going to be able to come out, to seep out, ooze out of your spices. Okay, that's warm enough. Now what we're going to do is, this is your curry leaf. This is from my curry leaf plant, rinsed.
I actually brought up some curry leaves with me.
Have you?
Yeah, I made a green curry the other day. I used that. I had some bay leaves that I brought up.
And what did everyone think about it? Because I bet most people haven't actually come across curry leaves.
Yeah, it really takes your dish to the next level. I use it all the time when I do my curries.
Huge difference, but more a South Indian thing than anything else. Right, so we're going to dump these leaves straight in there, and a teaspoon of this spice mix that I'll show you how to put together later. Just 30 seconds literally of that, because you don't want it to burn. Ready? What you're looking for, once the spices start jumping, you know it's time to add something, the next ingredient is the next step. And this is what we do. We fry your dry spices and for about 20 to 30 seconds, and then immediately we add something wet into it to bring the temperature right down to stop the spices from burning.
Mmm. Looking good.
Okay, now at this stage, new dress getting splattered on. Thankfully it's colored. At this stage, you're going to be hit by the aroma. Now next is your curry powder. Any curry powder will do. This is homemade, a mix that I make myself for fish curries. Recipe is on linsfood.com. The link is on the recipe for this curry. So now, after about a minute of frying the onion, garlic, and ginger mix, we're going to add the curry powder. Now this is going to be very dry because I don't use much fat. So what we're going to do is add the liquid in now. Organic coconut milk, no additives at all, just coconut and milk. So we're going to add this in and turn the heat up. A very, very easy curry to make actually. I did mention that, did I? So we're just going to rub that curry powder in and dissolve it. Now you can see that the curry leaves have come off the stem, so feel free to just take that out, put it aside, turn the heat up ever so slightly for your coconut milk to come to a simmer. Now if you remember from all the various shows that we've been doing and we've used coconut milk, you don't want coconut milk to come to a rolling boil because it'll curdle. So we just want it to simmer away. Now at this stage, as the curry powder is actually blending in, we add our okra, about a dozen okra, or your eggplants, whatever vegetables you're using. Because the okra is going to take slightly longer than the salmon to cook, so we're going to add the okra and cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes.
That looks good.
And then we will add the salmon in. There we go. Out comes the stem. And another ingredient at this stage that we're going to add is the tamarind juice or sauce. Again, back to last episode, we talked about tamarind, didn't we?
Yep.
Larry? Do you guys use tamarind much in Trinidad in cooking?
Yes, actually, I make tamarind sauce myself and have a bottle there with. I usually use garlic and sugar and a little bit of salt and boil it and have it there in a bottle. And I use like what you're using there because it's very potent. It's very concentrated.
So you add garlic to the tamarind sauce already?
Yeah, already. And I just make a bottle and keep it there. So the garlic is already infused.
Okay. So what do you use it for? What sort of dishes do you use that particular mix for?
Usually, when I cook fish, I would put, like if I'm doing a curry fish, I would put that tamarind sauce in there and also use it as a condiment because it's already cooked. I drizzle it over the fish.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So links. Yeah, Michelle, were you going to ask a question?
Yeah, Lynn, thank you. Yeah, I'm really surprised about the quantity of curry that you added in. We only use 1 2 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon. You know? I'm really surprised. How much did you put inside, Lynn? That's amazing.
4 tablespoons, because I'm just adding some water to lighten it. 4 tablespoons.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it right now.
4 tablespoons because it's for 4. Well, not that 4 tablespoons equals 4 people, but it's a bigger portion because curries. Yeah, I mean on the continent, the French. If you're going to make curry, it's not really curry as we know it, right? It's the curry is only there to flavor it slightly, isn't it? Yeah. Whereas here it is the curry forms the base flavor of the whole dish itself. So that's why the huge difference. Now let me talk to you about this panch phoron or Bengali 5 spice. All it's made up of is, of course, every cook is going to have his or her own different proportions, but I go for easy. And it's a teaspoon of cumin seeds, whole seeds.
Cumin.
Yeah. Black or brown mustard seeds, a teaspoon. Again, just everything is a teaspoon. Fenugreek seeds, which you might have trouble finding, but if you're going to cook Asian, you've got to really try and source up Asian shops and stuff. I get a lot of my things online. And fennel seeds, which should be easy enough to find, and finally Nigella seeds. Nigella seeds, also known as kalonji seeds, although they're sometimes called onion seeds, they're very, very different. And this is what you find on top of naans. You know, you've got some black things sprinkled on top of naans. That's what these seeds are, and very, very strong. So really use them. How would you describe that? Use them
sparingly.
Thank you. That's the word, sparingly. I was thinking of scarce, but no, not the right word. So there you go. So that's that. So that's the 5 spice, Bengali 5 spice of panch phoron that we're using for your fish curry. Now the curry powder itself, as I mentioned earlier, is homemade. And if you go to the page, the page for this recipe, there is a link to the homemade recipe itself, and it's essentially a case of cumin, coriander, fennel, chili powder, and white pepper powder. Simple. When I was little, we used to have this ancient Indian lady at the fresh market that we used to visit every morning to get our fresh powders or paste. She would literally grind them as we are, according to what we actually want. Now, 5 minutes of okra cooking, we're going to add the salmon pieces in there. Again, as I said, any type of fish will suffice, whatever you like eating. Now, there is a story as to how this dish came about. It's Southern Indian, typically Southern Indian. In the early 19th century, lots and lots of immigrants to Singapore from China, from India, and in Singapore, the Southern Indians made up a large portion of the immigrants. And this curry is Southern Indian. So when I was expecting my eldest, I don't know, 8 or 9 months, so only a few weeks from his due date, I had a real hankering for Southern Indian curry. So when I went to the fridge, I discovered I had no fish, no form of fish whatsoever, but I did find some frozen prawns in the freezer and some smoked salmon as well. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers. I thought, right, got no choice, got to do it, and lo and behold, it was an amazing discovery. The smoked salmon really, really did add to the final flavor of the curry. So now, when I make this particular salmon fish curry, I always add smoked salmon right at the end. Have we got any questions or comments, Larry?
Actually, we do. Let me see. Carmen Mandich. She said, let me bring it up on screen. This is a totally new recipe for me, combining curry with coconut milk. Thank you for introducing me to some absolutely new flavors. Yummy. Then Heather Crafter says that...
Thank you, Carmen.
Heather is off to her kitchen right away. And our good friend, Azlin, MJJ Namal Diaz or Diaz.
Hi, Namal. Yeah.
Right, he's from Sri Lanka, and he has some good things to say. Hello, my dear friends. Azlin go live from the day. Michelle Rebel, Kim Bultman, glad to see you all. In Sri Lanka, we call Karapincha to curry leaves. Okay.
Curry leaves we call Karapincha. Cool.
Right, here we have a few trees in my little garden.
You learn something every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they grow to be very big, these curry trees.
Yeah, actually, they do, because in my uncle's yard, there's a tall tree. It's like about maybe 10 or 11 feet tall, and it's not wide. It's just sort of like maybe about this wide and this tall. Yeah.
Well, I don't have these kind of trees at home, but I have a smokehouse. And you told me, Lynn, this is smoked salmon, yeah?
Yes. Yes.
So, as you know,
smokehouse. Woo.
I live in a farm from 1816. Okay, so I have a smokehouse, and as you know, perhaps in France, the hunting season is open, and I have a client. He shot a boar, and what we do with a friend is that we add with water some brine, and you have to marinate your meat for a couple of days. And so we are going to smoke it with wait a minute, with sawdust peach. So what I want to try is to make not some salmon, but some smoked trout, because trout is very, very good. And what people perhaps don't know is that smoked trout is cheaper than smoked salmon.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah.
The taste is fantastic. So perhaps to hang out with my smokehouse if you want, Larry. And
I'm there. I'm definitely there. Larry, while we're waiting for this to cook, did you want to talk about AJ's canned stuff?
Oh yeah. While that is doing, let me get unsettled. I'm getting comfortable. We have a good friend in Australia who was kind enough to send us some of her personal blends. Here it is, a meat rub marinade, which I used the other night for a barbecue we had. Did some steaks on it, and those steaks were awesome. She has a couple other blends. I think Azlin, you got some. Yeah, Michelle got some. Hold up, Michelle. I wasn't even blue boxing myself. There we go. Right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So conjure up, AJ. We'll fill you in on the details later. I will probably do something on that before the HIRL ends. There you go.
Well, thanks, Larry. For all of you who saw that, AJ has now got a new series with us on AZ Entertainment. Her first show went off last weekend, wasn't it, Michelle? Did we do it last weekend, AJ's first show?
Yeah.
So AJ cooks on a new series with AZ Entertainment called Fun Fabulous Food Down Under. It's on the third Sunday of every month. So if you'd like to keep track of AJ's shows, follow AZ Entertainment. AZ Entertainment is the page that I started a few months ago. Right, at this point, the salmon's practically cooked. I'm going to add a couple of tomatoes, just half tomatoes. Now, if you prefer your tomatoes really cooked and mushy, then add them with the salmon so they cook right down and they get, really soft. But I like my tomatoes fairly firm and fresh when I'm serving up. Now, the salmon's almost done. I'd say another 2 or 3 minutes and it'll be done.
I'm really pleased about I'm pleased about your links to your homemade curry powder, Azlin. I can't get fresh curry leaves where I live. In fact, I've never tried them. So Larry said he brought some along, and it would be a treat
I will
to
give you
try
some
those.
to take home.
That would be great. But in the meantime, I will make up some of your curry powder. It sounds delicious. And I appreciate the links.
Thank you, Kim. What I was going to say is, if you shop online, and if there are Asian stores selling online, curry leaves are also so dried. Needless to say, they're not as potent as fresh, but they will do. They will do.
Thank you.
For that. And yeah, there is a huge difference between meat curry powder and fish curry powder. Where it's quite funny, because when I grew up in Singapore, I just got used to curry powders, curry paste, because you had them in the market. And then I came to live here, and I got to know Indians and stuff, and they go, "What, curry powder? We don't use curry powder. We put everything together." So I had to learn how to make my own blends and mixers, So and with meat curry powders, you have cinnamon and clove in there, and nutmeg, a touch of nutmeg as well, which is something you don't get with fish curry powder because it overpowers the fish. So with this recipe, if you can't or don't like salmon, add any fish you want. And the original recipe doesn't call for smoked salmon. Smoked salmon is my addition to it. So if you're not a smoked fish fan, skip the smoked fish. And you are going to get, this is a traditional South Indian fish curry.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Azlin, because Heather Crafter just asked if she could use that curry with chicken.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, Heather. But when I sauteed the dry spices, if you recall, right at the start, add a couple of cardamoms, add a couple of a small cinnamon stick, and some cloves, 2 or 3 cloves for your curry, chicken curry. But if you go onto my website, you'll find curries, recipes for my granny's idiot-proof curry. I call it. That's one. So I don't know that I'm telling anyone an idiot, of course.
Oh, Azlin, Jamal Asi says hi to you.
Hi, Jamal Asi.
Yeah.
Oh, bonsoir, Jamal. Jamal, ça va? Right. So salmon is cooked. Okay. So now this is your smoked salmon. Now we don't need expensive long slices of salmon, because what we're going to do is we're just going to crumble everything up. So all you need to get are those trimmings. You find packets of trimmings being sold, offcuts basically, that are no good as slices. So what you do is you just get that, and you just literally crumble your smoked salmon into the curry.
Okay, now I understand.
The smoked salmon is salty. So I don't really add salt unless it needs it right at the end. We're fairly low salt in this house, so I don't actually add salt to this dish. But if you want it, by all means.
Okay.
So there you go. So once you add the smoked salmon, all you want to do is to gently stir it in without breaking up the fish and the okra too, unless you like your curry slimy. We've got the okra whole here. So gently stir the smoked salmon in just to heat it right through. And then you are done. The curry is done. Now what do we serve this with?
Yeah.
Obvious choice would be
rice.
Yeah, rice. That's right. Plain white rice. But I thought I'd show you something else, because we don't do boring on Simply Singapore. So
never.
We're going to turn this off, okay?
Yeah.
And let me just give my hands another wipe. And I'm going to introduce you to a couple of things that South Indians and Sri Lankans eat. Now, Mal will know this, of course. Now, you all know what parathas are, of course, right? Because we get them at Indian restaurants, those whole wheat bread. Now, these are a type of parathas, but they're made with white flour. So they're a type of roti, homemade. Okay, they're called paratha in Singapore. In Malaysia, they're called roti canai. In Singapore, roti prata. In Malaysia, roti canai. And we eat these for breakfast in Singapore and Malaysia with curry. Okay? So this is the type of roti. So, you know, am I on the big camera now, Larry?
Yes, you are.
Yeah? Okay, so here we go.
Actually, as I almost brought up some paratha to go with my curry, but it was just too much. It's been a little heavy in my suitcase.
I know, you gotta say no to some things, right?
Yeah.
So here we go. And this is something else completely different. If you have access to an Indian shop, Indian store, these are called in English, they're called string hoppers. Namal, what are they called in Sri Lankan? I don't know what they're called in Sri Lankan because I don't speak that language. What do we call them? We call them putu in Singapore and Malaysia. The Indians in Singapore and Malaysia call them putu. So something else you can eat with your curry. And these we call appam. I know that the Sri Lankans will have a different name. So again, these are all breakfast dishes. And if you want to have them as a savory dish, you just add the curry on the side. But my favorite way of eating this, again, fairly common for kids, is shredded coconut and brown sugar. It's so yummy. But these are, again, alternative ways to serve your curries with. You could serve it with naans and with chapatis, the more commonly known rotis in the West, if you wanted to. And as to side dishes, any number of Indian side dishes, vegetables will suffice. Needless to say, a green salad would go very nicely with that too. Whether it's spicy or not really does depend on how much chili powder you put in your curry powder when you are making it, or if you bought it, whether it's a mild curry powder or hot. That's it. We're done. Smoked salmon fish curry.
It does.
Well, Lynn, hey, Lynn, seriously, no, really. I'm diving in the view on your, you know, with the camera on the top of your wok. And believe me, the day I'll come in Bournemouth in the south of England, and you know, I'm not kidding. This one I want to taste it. Believe me, this one I want to taste it.
You got a deal. You got a deal. Yeah.
Yeah. This one seems great.
That is great, Azlin. That is really good.
So, Azlin, did you name the baby or name the dish after the baby? Then, after it satisfied your craving?
No, I did. My eldest, Trafford, for those of you who know English football, was named after the home ground for my favorite football club, Manchester United. My son's named after their home ground. And it wasn't my husband's idea, it was mine. So.
All right.
No, can you imagine, Kim, what would I have called him? Smoked Bloor?
Call him Smokey.
Smokey.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. We got a couple of folks just saying, you know, it looks great. Carmen, Mandich, Eleanor Dalamati. I could never remember to pronounce that lady's name properly. Sorry, Eleanor. Of course, Jamal. So, Azlin, this is the final show of the season. And on the Larry Live, Larry/Larry Finale channel, and everything now, folks, will be going over to AZ Entertainment, right?
Yeah.
So tell them when you're gonna start it.
Well, in a month, we're not, unlike Savor the Flavor, we're not taking a season break. So because Savor the Flavor was a weekly show, so we needed a month off. But Simply Singapore is monthly, so we'll be back 4 weeks from now. And it will be hosted by AZ Entertainment, where we also have other shows. Next Sunday, a friend of mine from the Foodies Plus food community, well, actually she's getting married on the 12th of October. Next Sunday, Savor the Flavor comes back with a special wedding show. She's going to talk us through her French wedding menu.
Oh, that should be interesting.
And she's going to be that's Joy Stewart. You've seen Joy on the panel of Savor the Flavor, and she's going to show us her wedding favor. Amazing. I shan't give anything away. And this Wednesday, Book Club HOA. Any readers out there? Join us for a Book Club HOA.
Okay, awesome. So, Debbie and Kim.
Hey.
All right.
Debbie, where are you, Debbie?
Debbie just poked her head in.
Michelle, are you going to try adding 4 tablespoons of curry powder now? Are you brave enough instead of 2 teaspoons?
That's curry you make,
No,
Michelle.
no, I dare not do that if Lynn is not with me. But what we do once a week is a curry, but believe me, I use 1 teaspoon of curry, you know?
I need to have a word with your wife. I need to have a word with your wife.
All right, Azlin, you could take us out, please.
Alrighty, Kim, it was really, really lovely to meet you, and Debbie as well. We do know each other, don't we? But we haven't really been on a show together. Although I haven't really seen you. Bye, Dawn. Bye, Wayne. Michelle, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, guys.
Bye.
My pleasure. Yeah, bye, everybody.
Right after here, I will be starting an impromptu HOA and showing those guys in the kitchen. So, Azlin.
Cool. Bye, everybody. Thank you. See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.